You ever wake up in the morning and just feel like you're never going to get your motor running? You're never going to get the energy you need for the day to do what you've got to do for the day? I know I've had those days, and I'm sure all of you have had those days as well. So we want to talk about what is up with that. What do we do with that feeling of just no go, this fatigue that we cannot seem to diagnose and find solutions for? What do we do about that? Why does it happen?
Well, there's a lot of reasons that it happens. So let's start out with the most basic, easy physical reasons why you could feel fatigued. Did you stay up too late? Did you drink a bunch? Did you eat too much? Did you eat crappy foods?
Mm-hmm.
Did you smoke too much weed?
Oh, man.
Did you party too late?
Again.
Did you have bad sleep? Those are the easy reasons that one can feel fatigued, obviously, in which case you just need to recuperate.
Don't do that.
But one of the main reasons that people feel ongoing fatigue is that they are not happy about their life. They have a sense of dread about their life. And if you really start to pay attention to this, if you wake up with a really heavy sensation or a really distinct fatigue and kind of check in, do I feel a sense of dread right now? You'll get a pretty quick answer. And if you don't like your family, if you don't like your husband, your wife, if you don't really like being around your kids or going through that whole morning routine.
Ankle biters.
If you don't, did we say job? If you don't like your job or school or whatever it is that your day is going to be filled with, then it's very likely that you're feeling fatigue that's actually dread.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so a lot of people don't give themselves permission even to admit that they have a sense of dread.
Why? Why do we hesitate to recognize we have dread in our life? Why would we not want to recognize that?
Well, in our working with so many people, it seems to us that when you have a lack of confidence in your ability to handle something, you avoid it. So let's say that you, deep down, you know that you don't like your wife. And you know that if you look at that,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to do something about it.
She's got to go.
But that's not an option to you. Maybe an underlying belief that you have is, I don't believe in divorce.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people that have that, sure.
So what happens with a belief like that? I don't believe in divorce. So what does that mean?
You're trapped.
It means if I don't like my spouse, too bad. So what does that create? It creates denial. Because you've already established in a corner of yourself that there's nothing you can do about that because it goes against what you believe to be appropriate.
Right.
Okay, so that's one scenario. So the first thing we would say to be able to properly deal with dread is to give yourself permission to actually admit to yourself whatever it is that you feel dread about, so that you can then start to problem solve whatever that is.
Yeah. So get out of the state of denial and look at what you've really got in front of you, what you're really feeling. Yeah, you know, in Chinese medicine, when we have those circumstances in life where we have an event, an emotional event, a traumatic event, and we don't know what to do with it, we stuff it down into a particular area of the body, and it's you can't see this in the camera, but I'm pointing at my belly. There's only one channel in the body that runs horizontally, and that's the one we're talking about. It's called Daimai, and it's kind of a dumping ground, a septic sewage system or a basement. And we put these emotions we don't know what to do with, these traumas, and we put them down in that area and tell ourselves, well, I'll deal with it later. Even if it's unconsciously, you're going, well, I'll come around to it. And we don't. So the basement just fills up. And so you're lugging around the weight of all these things you've suppressed into that area and stored away. It drains on you. It's like apps on a phone. Look at what I'm not using that's taking my battery life right now.
Exactly. And that's exactly why we teach emotional alchemy, which is the ability to take a negative emotion and be present with it through its transformation into a positive emotion. It takes a lot of dedication, it takes the ability to be real with oneself, and it takes the ability to be present. But if you can learn to be present with your emotions and learn to be very honest with what they are, so that you can truly be with them, then instead of avoiding them and pushing them down, as you're saying, they stay right here with you, interacting with them, and they keep moving and changing. So even someone who has a life that maybe causes them a significant amount of disappointment, if that individual can stay present with their emotions and allow themselves to undergo that alchemy where they naturally transform just by your presence, you can actually make a lot of progress in the area of fatigue. Because what then naturally happens as you pay attention to emotions and you allow them to transform in at least your awareness is you start to understand avenues of solutions. And when you start to see solutions, what happens? You have motivation again. You have hope. You see a future that looks like something you're interested in.
Right.
So it brings life to everything.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm working with people, I can feel the things that are tamped down, stored away, tucked away. And I'll often, one of my goals is to help them to connect to it. Even if it's not consciously, I want them to have an awareness, like you said, and feel it rise up to where they have access to it again. Where it's not sequestered off in a locked box that they have no chance of getting into. And we talk about this when we're dealing with this area in Chinese medicine. You don't want to pop the tops off of all of them at once, so you're going to overwhelm the person. Their body can't handle that type of awareness, that mass awareness. But you do want to take one thing at a time and bring it to their attention, to your own attention, and then to start move through it. And we have different ways when we work with ourselves and other people to do that. There are techniques, there are skills that you can use to locate those, focus into them, on them, and then sink down into them and bathe in them, be aware of them fully, and then you can start to transform them.
And then the other thing we would say, if you're dealing with fatigue, learn Pangu Shengon.
Hello.
Because it's a magical Qigong form, and you will feel more energetic and healthy when you're practicing it.
Yeah, we're not going to stop saying it, so you might as well just learn it. We've got a lot of stress in our culture right now, in the world right now, and there's no better time to start to learn the tools that you need to not only weather through all this, but come through this, thrive through what we're experiencing right now, and know how to be empowered to pull yourself up out of this state of dragging fatigue for all the reasons mentioned, and learn how to thrive. So with that, we bid you adieu, and we'll talk to you very soon.